the trees.
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear that.
Well, we'll get it picked up at some point, but what you did sure looks nice.
Well, the idea was to let the mower people drive without being strangled by the
Yeah.
branches.
As a person who rides a riding mower, I totally appreciate that. I haven't done this yard for a long time, but I don't like getting strangled by the trees at home either. So, it was a good plan on your
Cleaned
part.
up, cleaned up the memorial garden area and added Jody Mills and Dale Graves plaques to the wall
Oh, nice.
and planted a couple of flowers out there. So,
Great.
yep.
Well, we'll try to get over here this week with some sort of trailer or something and get all that picked up. So let's.
Good.
I was zipping
Trimmed the
along and
bushes.
almost got strangled by a grapevine while mowing.
Oh,
I ducked, but it hit the ropes part of the zero turn, and next thing I knew, the front wheels were up in the air, and I was looking at the sky, and I thought, I don't think this is good.
Yikes.
So then it slammed back down, and
Oh, I've done that, yeah.
it was exciting. Me and mechanicals on the farm, Mr. Less than Ept.
and then Dan trimmed the bushes.
Dan trimmed the bushes, okay.
It's like giving them a haircut.
What's a haircut?
Well, they needed it and you gave them a good one.
Not so much a beard trim.
Well, somebody did a nice job on the front garden, so that's appreciated.
Is it your iPad that doesn't connect or is it the TV that doesn't
The
connect?
TV won't connect to the wireless signal.
Weird.
So I don't know if it got zapped or something. I'm gonna ask Neil about it again. Because I put the password in. So
Oh, well.
we know we've got wireless working because this is all hooked up.
Yeah. Well, and I was on my phone, well, I don't know, my iPad is connected to it. I don't know what my phone is.
So we'll have them check the TV. I said we can see them if everybody wants to come up and look at the iPad.
There we go, we can all.
Or you can connect,
We can drag our chairs right up here and see them on the iPad.
yeah. Or you can connect, just don't connect to audio.
Oh, well, that's not good.
So you can connect via Zoom and just not connect the audio,
Right.
and you'll be able to see everybody.
I'd probably screw up something, so I won't try that.
I can help you. If you, yeah, just connect with video, and then when it says audio, say no.
Steve busy farming or is he avoiding COVID carriers?
My own private little showing here.
Yeah. Is Steve out farming today?
He's probably going to join, via Zoom. He likes the half hour, and he can already dress in his, I'm gonna go feed the cows clothes and then come to worship and then take off immediately. So my guess is that's the way he's going to check in, although, you know, one never knows for sure.
So your kids take you anywhere today, or?
It's a surprise. They have said nothing except when Kristen was over on Thursday, she said, "Are you gonna be home Sunday?" I said, "Yeah, after church."
Well, the girls came yesterday and brought me the presents.
I was gonna give him a hard time last week, thinking last Sunday was
That was
Father's
it?
Day.
I did too.
Then,
Well, there's Lynn.
Yeah, no audio, to hear others join audio, no audio.
Yeah, because you can hear everybody over the speakers, see? And that way there's no feedback. But now you can see everybody.
There we go, all right. What the wonders of technology. Well, you don't really need to see.
Now we need to see you.
I remember when it was a big ordeal to call Granny in West Virginia when I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
It was a planned thing. You dial.
Why'd you shut your video off?
I don't know.
Now we can't see you.
That was part of the point.
You gotta sit towards the edge, because otherwise you don't get picked up on the video.
Drag some chairs here and make it closer.
Or sit on the front pew. This is like herding cats.
She doing all right?
Physically, yeah.
You know we can hear you, right?
No, we're just mumbling. You can't hear us, surely not. You guys need to scoot more that way.
My daughter Kristen has,
We can see half, well, move it. Good heavens. Oh, Deb's online today.
Yeah,
Hi,
I have a
Deb.
cold. Yeah, I have a cold and I didn't want to share it with the group, so.
thank
Okay.
you. Kristen showed me a bunch of hailstones she had.
Now we can see
When it blew through Lawrence the other day. They were probably an inch in diameter.
you. So were there any bad storms in Iowa?
Not in our area. We saw some corn that had died from drought on our way, mostly north of Grinnell. But today will get us through today's rain will get us through another 2 weeks, I think.
It's not coming through the speakers. Well, I know they're on. Okay, we're having all kinds of fun here today.
Very gentle rain going on here now. But we need about 4 inches.
But you need it to come slow, so it sinks in, right?
That's right. That's right. And it started slowly, so that's helpful. Where are you, Megan?
I'm out on the porch.
Uh-huh.
I spent the morning at the laundromat,
Oh,
so I feel all fresh and clean.
okay.
Sorry. So I gather there are technical difficulties back at the meeting house?
They did have strong storms yesterday,
Uh,
and they may have had some wires shaken loose.
Yeah, there was a lot down here in Plainfield. I'm gonna pop in for just a little while. He'll be thoughts with us. We have a friend that's moving down to Plainfield from Chicago, and she's slightly a nervous wreck. So I have to meet her at a storage locker. It's like, I told her, she said, how far am I away from the storage locker? And she wasn't gonna give me much time. So I said, oh, okay, I need to center myself. I need to be with you guys, because hopefully we'll get Valley Mills up and running in the next couple of months, so that we'll have stuff not as good as you guys, but we'll try it. So no, it really came.
Excellent of your own sort.
Yeah.
You'll be excellent of your own sort. Comparing ourselves to other people doesn't always help. I find myself. You will be wonderful.
Well, I think we're ready for the prelude. If folks would mute yourselves for to avoid feedback, that would help. And then we'll do joys and concerns after the prelude. Welcome, everyone. Are there joys or concerns to be shared this morning? One joy is we have coffee in the fellowship hall afterwards. For anyone who wants to stay and have a little bit of coffee.
They're saying they can't hear.
You
Ready
can.
for worship.
Could you hear the music?
Yes,
Yes.
Can you hear us now?
yes.
I don't know what it is. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yeah, we have the yellow.
If you
You're
project
not
well,
Yeah, Steve's right.
We've got the microphone all the way up.
okay,
Now
that
you're,
helps
now
when
you're, now you're good.
when you're closer to it, it helps. Yeah.
I'll sit on Dan's lap. No, I won't.
Or we can do American Sign Language or
Yeah,
something, Zoom with sign language.
Charlie McCarthy or yeah, Edgar Bergen.
Yeah,
We have coffee on today in the fellowship hall. So for those who are here, we can have coffee after a meeting. So a slight return to normal. And next Sunday at 11 o'clock, anyone who wants to, who's here in person, will resume going to O'Charlie's for brunch. So,
okay. I just want to give credit to my family, who some of who were together this week. On Friday, we gathered at the meeting house and did a little work. Dan Trenbush's brother Dave was there, and he has a little trouble seeing, a little trouble walking, but he did not quit helping with raking and cleaning up. And we added to the memorial wall plaques for Jody Mills, Dave's wife, who died a year ago, and for Dale. So we enjoyed being together and doing that work. Other than a slight cut in the head by a chainsaw for Eric's wife Laura, she's okay. just a little trauma, but we're okay. We're thankful that we had a wonderful weekend, and Dave is on his way home this morning and therefore probably not going to join us.
If I may,
Beth and I will be in Massachusetts next Sunday and the following 2 or 3 Sundays visiting grandchildren and the beaches of Cape Cod and the Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole and various other places.
I apologize for having to butt in and butt out, but all of a sudden I've gotten a text from my friend who's coming down to move to Plainfield, and I have moving duty for her, mover's duty for her. But I will try to join you via Zoom tomorrow, next week, before I go to Valley Mills. But thank you very much. I appreciate the work of all. And I know I'll see some of you on Brent's workshop this coming week. Is it 2 weeks from now? You have the workshop at FGC. So no, thank you. Bye.
I hope that our visiting friend gets a chance to go to the Friends meeting in Sandwich, which is a very old place and has Quaker Meeting House Road, I think, that runs right by it. But I also want to just say how excited I am that we're having our last contemporary Quakers this tomorrow, and it's Doug Steer's daughter, Ann Nash, who will be speaking about her dad. And I just feel like that's a different take. Everybody else has been a little arm's length, never having necessarily been quite as close to the people they're talking about as Ann is to her dad. So that should be a different and very fun thing. And I'm also super grateful for all the people who have come from West Newton to any of these events. It's just made it really beautiful for me. Thank you.
We've attended the West Falmouth Friends meeting, which is a monthly meeting of Sandwich, of Friends General Conference meeting. It's a very lively group of friends that have been meeting for a long time.
That's the one I meant, and I'm sorry I got the name wrong, but
Well, doesn't Sandwich also have I've never been to the Sandwich meeting.
I think it does, but I'm like vague because I'm a Maine person, not a Cape person. And the only way I know about it is my dear friend Martha Gordon, who passed this right before the beginning of the pandemic. She used to summer on the Cape and go to one of those meetings. I thought it was Sandwich. And so she has a lot of memorabilia about it, pictures of the meeting house and whatever. That's the only way I really know about it.
Well, there's always East Yarmouth if you want to go there too, so. There are about 4 meetings on the Cape and they're all fairly close to each other.
Well, where are the others, Brent?
Yarmouth, Sandwich, Falmouth. Which I
And I
first
think there's
pronounced
one on,
Falmouth, but
I think there's one on one of the islands, but that's more complicated.
yes, there's one on Martha's Vineyard. And there used to be one at, Phooey.
Nantucket.
Now, yeah,
Well,
Nantucket, but there's one at, a whaling place on Cape Cod. That's the one where I went and there were 3 of us and the cat climbed up on the clerk's table and slept through the whole meeting. And we thought the clerk had slept through the whole meeting, so the cat figured it was time to end meeting and got up and stretched and meowed real loud and woke up the clerk. We adjourned meeting. So,
well, the great American novel Moby Dick has many paragraphs about the Quakers in Nantucket, and the first mate on the Pequod was a Quaker.
Starbuck. Well, those are plenty of joys and concerns. Dan is the worship leader. He may have a prayer for us before we go into silence, and he will speak out of the silence after his prayer too.
Dear Heavenly Holy Father, we come thankfully, we come willingly. We come with concerns on our hearts, with joys on our hearts. We give you thanks for family, for friends, for community, for again making personal contact. Give us the strength to look forward, the resolve to look forward, the willingness to move forward in your will. These things we ask in Jesus' name, amen. I was just this past week driving my way through Plainfield at a walk. My truck has horsepower, but could neither trot nor canter. There's been underground boring going on in points further west, headed east, and the tunnelers had made it to town. The curb lane going east had been clogged with boring machines and heavy trucks. The digging crews plied their magic of making horizontal holes and inserting conduit beneath the streets and the driveways. They had made it under the east fork of the White Lick Creek and under the sidewalk in front of Dairy Queen. They had dug under 3 blocks of sidewalks and onto the Western Yearly Meeting ground. The project had been going on long enough that local traffic eastbound knows before the top of West Hill to get into the herd line in the near center lane. I was there patiently maintaining a slow pace in line behind the early 1970s Chevrolet half-ton pickup truck. I remember one nearly alike sitting in the driveway turnaround at my childhood home. It had belonged to my older brother, Steve. Being the eldest, he was first of my siblings to get a driver's license, a paying job, and wheels of his own. The truck ahead of me was nearly alike. It was blue and white. It was in relatively good condition, not restored, mind you, but showing evidence of good care. There were fringes of rust around the edges. The taillights worked. The bumper was straight. The mirrors were uncracked, and the exhaust muffler was doing its job. Certainly a truck still useful, but surviving long after most others of that period have rusted into history or been recycled. On the tailgate of that model year were attached bold font letters spelling out the maker's name. Some of the lettering was missing. C, V, L, E, and T were still attached. The moment dawned on me that the letters absent spelled hero. My wandering imagination went into full gallop. Was this a coincidence that age had made some adhesive give up? Or were the specific letters removed for another purpose? I imagined that there had to have been a purpose. There are darn few other adjectives that could be made from the letters in Chevrolet. Being done on purpose, there must have been a person or persons involved. Who was it, and why preserve the truck and repurpose the letters? Who was thought to be heroic, and by whom? The driver of the old Chevy truck looked a bit older than the vintage of the truck. The story that flashed into my mind was that the truck was a shiny new purchase by the driver's older brother in 1972. An older brother draftee soldier that went off to the Southeast Asian War, and an older brother saying to a younger, "Take care of this until I get back." An older brother who didn't survive the drafted service. I sensed the younger brother forever holding on to a piece of a future that never came. I see the tailgate letters. Glued to a granite marker in a grassy Indiana cemetery. They're there above a 19-year-old's private first class name. Unknown to most, but still hero. To the driver of the truck. I felt all this in seconds as I watched the truck turn south on Center Street. The late 60s and 70s were my formative years too. Since then, I have been pondering the meaning of hero and heroism, past and present. In classical mythology, heroes were beings of godlike prowess and beneficence, who often came to be honored as a divinity. More of late, heroes are persons noted for courageous acts or nobility of character. I find today's usage, runaway usage of the word hero troubling. When it's pasted on groups of people, I find it a false attribution. I cannot find every paid public servant in the police and fire departments a hero. I cannot find every medical care provider a hero. I cannot find every member of the armed forces a hero. It is for my mind and soul to decide who is a hero to me. If I have a hero, it must be a singular person, one I have known. I have great admiration for many people, but that doesn't make them a hero to me. In the things I read and watch and listen to, I have become more sensitive to the siren song of idolatry and hero worship. In the paper this week, there were 2 pictures of athletes kissing trophies, and an earlier one kissing the bricks at the Indianapolis racetrack. I would hope they kissed their spouses and children with as much joy. My interpretation is that it was a show to gain public adulation and sell more kitsch and promote hero worship of themselves and their sport. Many more people know the name of one of the cup kissers. He won the French Open men's singles. More people know him than know Katie Sheridan. She used her swimming and diving skills to pull a man off the bottom of the lake at Shepherd Park Beach this week. Valiant efforts at resuscitation failed to save his life. Katie said, "I have a lot of guilt for not going in the water sooner. I wish I could have done more to save the man." It is those who attempt to do the right thing at their own peril that are hero material. Has American society come to the verge of idolatry? There are less U.S. persons identifying themselves Christians now than in the recent past. There are numerous things and persons being idolized or even worshiped. When God spoke to Moses and Aaron and gave the 10 Commandments and other laws of social behavior, the first was, "You shall have no other gods before me." And the second was, "You shall not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them." There is no use of the word hero in the Bible. And yet, if being selfless and risking death for doing good is the trait of a genuine hero, wasn't Jesus the ultimate one? He's mine, can be yours too.
When I started practicing law, I worked with elders, which at that time, and I think still is, and for legal services purposes, was anyone over 60. Seems like kids these days. And I had a client who had a problem with Medicare and who came in to talk to me about it. But I could not get him to focus on it. He was a World War II veteran, and this would have been in the late 80s or maybe 1990. And we could talk for 2 or 3, maybe 5 minutes. And then he'd turn to me and he'd say, and he would tell me about the scene on the battlefield where he had killed a man, a Japanese man, and how horrible it had been, just how horrible it had been for him. And then I would listen to him, and then I would say, can we also talk about your Medicare problem? And he'd go for 2 or 3 minutes, and then he'd go back, he'd tell me the same story. He lived in that moment for his whole life thereafter. You know, when I think about our peace testimony, I remember that, you know, we suffer losses of many kinds. Every death on a battlefield is a loss to us all. The enemy's death is my death. And it teaches me that I must, in another way, a different way of looking at it for me sometimes. I remember how much I need to love my enemy to make my enemy my friend, to be a friend to my enemy, to love my enemy.
So we will now transition to a period of unprogrammed worship. For friends who are present in the meeting room, if you feel led to speak, please come up towards the front, close to the microphone. Well, excuse me, as we come to our closing time, are there any thoughts that friends would like to share before we say goodbye for today and close worship?
Thank you, Dan, for your message. And it was good to have Deb join us.
Well, those of us who are here are going to adjourn and have coffee. And the rest of you are invited to have coffee along with us, but we won't be online doing that. And we hope to see you all next week, and many of you tomorrow night at the Notable Friends gathering that Wellesley's putting on. So I'll send out the link to that this afternoon sometime.
Thank you. And thank you for your message. It was very powerful.
Thank you.
Well, blessings on us all, as Tiny Tim, to paraphrase Tiny Tim. God bless us, everyone, and I hope to see you soon.
Nice message.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not sure why. It's my imagination. I mean, I don't know all those things for a fact. Now that picture